So Tim, on this Tuesday, the day after the national championship game, I saw a couple things. And
By the way, hold on a second.
go ahead.
You just randomly threw in last night on Fast Money that the Crimson Tide were going to win by 28 points. What was the final score last night?
I believe the final score was 52 for the Tide of Alabama to 28 for the Buckeyes of Ohio State. It's something like whatever it was a.
Well, that doesn't add up to 28.
No,
that doesn't add up to 28.
Was it
dude? I mean, I was just teeing you up for glory.
Look, I don't know,
and you can't even do the math. I mean,
52-24, and it was 28 points. So bang.
It was Rain Manny-esque. Good for you. All right, so. What do you got?
Yeah, so that was well done. And then today I see that your General Motors is making an all-time high. So what I thought was, they don't make them like that anymore, which of course me got thinking about the Greg Kihn band, the breakup song. They don't write them like that anymore.
Terrible song. Look,
terrible.
I think if it wasn't for MTV, Greg Kihn, I would never know who the Greg Kihn band was, even though they're one of those bands from the 80s and late 70s that actually probably put a lot of stuff out. But the breakup song, as they don't write them like that anymore. I don't know. I mean, in fact, when you say Greg Kihn, I think of the album Kinspiracy. And his big MTV song was Our Love's in Jeopardy. Remember that one?
Sure it is. Is that the other Greg Kihn song? So Our Love's, which is a brutal song as well. It's equally brutal.
It's brutal, and it was spoofed and parodied by your boy Weird Al Yankovic.
Sure.
Who did a version of Our Love's in Jeopardy, which is I lost on Jeopardy.
I lost on Jeopardy. Now let me ask you a question. Do you think it's a badge of? First of all, I don't know if Weird Al is still with us or not. I have no idea. If he is, I'm sure he's a big fan.
By the way, was his hair real? What was going on with Weird Al's hair? I've never seen it. He looked like a mermaid or something.
He looks like Howard Stern, but is
he looks
it a badge of honor?
Great call.
Is it a badge of honor to be parodied by Weird Al, or is that something like? Is it like your career is over if you've been parodied?
No. You know you've had a commercially successful hit. So obviously Weird Al doing "Eat It" with the Michael Jackson heyday for "Beat It." No, I like Weird Al. And look, they don't write.
But that's another show. It's just he is taking what should be sacred, trying to turn it into something for his own purposes, and I just find that to be reprehensible. But that's another show for another time. Anyway,
well, I think we'll throw it out to the viewers of Commercial Break what they think of Weird Al. I know he spoofed Madonna. I mean, anyone, if you had something going on, he was spoofing you, and good for that. But they don't write them like that anymore. They don't make them like that anymore. By the way, this shirt I'm wearing, I've had it since my sophomore year of college. I know it looks cutting edge, and I realize I am always.
Would that
sartorial.
be like circa 86-ish?
Yes.
Tremendous.
Yes, dude.
Tremendous. And that bat looks like it's circa 86.
Well, this bat is made to look like it's 86. I was up in Cooperstown. One of my buddies got married in Cooperstown, and actually they said their vows at home plate at Legends Field, which is pretty damn cool. So I had the Timbo 66 version made up there, and needless to say, I haven't taken it to the cage because it just should sit as this. But if GM is suddenly emerging from this days of when the automakers, the OEMs as we put them, were making trucks. I mean, a car from 1986 Buick would be bigger than my house right now. So the fact that they're coming through with this EV line, and they announced today that part of this is not just that we know that they're going to have 20 different EV models by 2023, but that they actually have this new division, which is going to producing EV components, EV products, not necessarily all geared into the auto space. That this is about, becoming a company that has this EV prowess. I think it's extraordinary. I think it's a game changer.
Yeah. And listen, so people understand if they're a first time viewer of Commercial Break, Tim's been talking about General Motors for months. So he's not been early and wrong. He's been early and right. But just if you want to play the home game, the forward multiple on the S&P 500 is either side of, I think, 24. Let's just call it 24 for sake of argument. General Motors is nowhere close to that. And General Motors is going to make $6 a share next year. So if you just put a 9 multiple on that, which is obviously less than half of the market, you're talking about a $54 stock.
That's easier math for you. Can you do that math, guy? I mean,
sure,
28 points,
yeah, the nines are easy for me for whatever. So, but you do 10. I mean, I can do 10 times 6. I mean, 10 times 6 is a $60 stock, and you're still less than half of the S&P 500. So I think you can figure out where the stock should be headed, Tim.
Yeah, and I think that we've watched the Neos of the world. We certainly know all about the move in Tesla. I think for a company that's actually making money and a company that's proven that they care about the bottom line, and they've done some painful things socially and otherwise to close down unprofitable plants in certain parts of the country, and they were ahead of Ford in shutting down unprofitable European business. This is a top holding for me, full disclosure. So I feel very comfortable owning the company. I think if I was rating the worst bands of MTV from the mid '80s when Greg Kihn was out there with the breakup song, I'd probably also go with Golden Earring. I mean, did anyone ever know who Golden Earring was? Even though they were the first to market with Radar Love, even though they weren't the ones that had a big hit with it. Thoughts?
Yeah, great call by you. I want to say that Golden Earring was the Greyhound that Felix and Oscar bought in The Odd Couple, but I got to go back and look. Yeah.
Wow, that's
a
deep
cut. That's a deep cut. But as we get out of here, what I'll say, you mentioned If. You just threw the word If.
Yeah.
Great song by one of the great bands, and don't at me, folks. Bread.
David Gates.
Sure.
Not David Soul, which we touched on recently from Starsky and Hutch fame, but David Gates and Bread. If do you want to hum a few bars of that?
No, I don't. But I will say that Gates Brown was one of my favorite Detroit Tigers of the 1970s.
I guess downtown Freddie Brown of the '79 Seattle Supersonics is where I would go with that. And he was a sharpshooter really before the NBA got into their 3-point thing. And that team with Jack Sikma, Marvin the Human Racer Webster, and of course Mount Vernon's Gus Williams, not Ray.
And I think Dennis Johnson may have spent some time with that team. And I'll also then give you Fred Brown of Georgetown Hoya fame, who unceremoniously passed the ball to James Worthy to end the 1981 national championship game, a game that Michael Jordan dominated before people really realized who he was. But again, it's another commercial break, Tim.
Well, look, if your 28-point nailing of the spread last night is any indication, I'm looking for you for the title game score coming up. We'll leave it at that.
Later.